Because in Tombstone, law wasn't written in ink, it was carved in blood and dust, and some men made sure it stayed that way. The wind howled across Blackwater Station, carrying the scent of coal smoke, dust, and danger. Lanterns flickered along the platform as the last train of the night ground its wheels against the iron rails. In the shadows of the empty depot, a woman stood rigid, her coat pulled tight around her shoulders, eyes scanning the night. She breathed low, almost a whisper, the words hanging heavy between them, "You paid for me, just do it." Coal, dust. McGraw felt the chill of her gaze, saw the tremor in her hand as it hovered near the satchel at her side. He had been many things in his life, rancher, gambler, enforcer of debts long overdue, but tonight, every lesson he'd learned boiled down to one thing: the right move, or die trying. Her words were a spark, a challenge, and the tension wrapped around him tighter than the cold winter air. He didn't answer. He never did. He acted. The town of Blackwater was small, barely more than a scattering of wooden buildings along the tracks, but it had a reputation. Deals were struck here under lantern glow, and whispers of betrayal traveled faster than the freight trains. Dust had arrived weeks earlier, following a trail of stolen horses, missing gold, and rumors of a woman caught in the crossfire of greed. The locals spoke her name only in hushed tones, calling her Lila, but few had seen her. Most only knew that whoever controlled her would control more than gold, they'd control the leverage that could topple the station's fragile order. Dust's eyes traced the dim outline of the saloon across the tracks. Inside, the men who had orchestrated the deal waited, a collection of ex-gunslingers, crooked merchants, and one man, Jeremiah Hale, whose smile never reached his eyes. Hale had promised gold for Lila, and tonight, the exchange was meant to happen. But Dust had learned long ago that nothing in Blackwater came easy, and betrayal was always dressed in civility. The whistle of the approaching train cut through the night, slicing the tension like a knife. Lila stepped closer to Dust, the satchel shifting against her side. She didn't need to speak, the look in her eyes said everything: do it now, or everything ends. Cole McGraw considered the weight of the situation, fingers brushing the grip of his Colt. Every instinct screamed caution, yet the fire in his chest demanded action. As the train screeched to a halt, the platform filled with shadows of men and horses. Hale's voice, smooth as whiskey and twice as sharp, carried over the roar of steam. "Evening, Mr. McGraw," he said. "Shall we make this simple?" Dust's jaw tightened. He nodded once, deliberately, the motion slow, controlled. Behind Hale, Lila's lips parted slightly, a whisperless plea, a challenge, an accusation. The deal began. Men stepped forward, exchanging the satchel for a crate of gold. But Dust, who had studied every angle for days, waited for the exact moment. Hale's men never noticed the shift in Dust's stance, the subtle twitch of his fingers along his holster. He moved like a shadow, precise, calculated, and lethal. In less than a heartbeat, two men were on the ground, dusted and stunned, as Cole seized control of the satchel and pulled Lila behind the nearest crate. The air smelled of gunpowder and sweat, the platform alive with chaos. Hale's eyes widened in disbelief as Dust leveled his Colt with deadly calm. "You thought it'd be that easy," Dust said, voice low, almost conversational. "You forgot one thing about Blackwater: everyone pays their dues, or dies waiting." Lila's hand brushed Dust's arm, a spark of gratitude, tension, and unspoken relief passing between them. In that moment, the station held its breath, the line between danger and desire as thin as the barrel of a gun. The betrayal had been coming. One of Hale's men had tried to corner Dust weeks ago, planting false leads and promises, thinking greed would blind him. Dust had let it happen, watched, learned, and planned. Now, the final move was his. With one decisive flick, he sent the remaining threat sprawling into the shadows. The gold, the leverage, and the woman were his to command, but he chose none of it. Instead, he left Hale cursing in the dust, humiliated, alive, but powerless. As the train's whistle faded into the distance, Dust and Lila stepped onto the empty platform. She looked at him, eyes wide, words caught somewhere between awe and fear. He tipped his hat, a ghost of a smile flickering across his face. "Some deals aren't worth keeping," he said, voice carrying both warning and wisdom. "And some debts only the West remembers." The platform was silent once more, save for the wind sweeping dust across the rails. Lila tucked the satchel beneath her arm, turning her gaze to the horizon. Coal, dust. McGraw mounted his horse, spurred it forward, disappearing into the night, leaving Blackwater to ponder the audacity, the cunning, and the ruthless morality of a man who acted decisively when everyone else hesitated. In the end, the West learned again that strength isn't measured in gold or firepower alone, it's measured in choices. The right move in the wrong world could make legends, and the wrong move in the right world could make corpses. Dust's decision wasn't clean. It wasn't honorable. But it was decisive. And sometimes, that's all the West asks of a man. As dawn broke over the railroad town, lanterns extinguished, and doors creaked open, whispers spread of the night. A single rancher appended a deal, outwitted a gang, and walked away with nothing but the knowledge that in Blackwater, everybody has a price, and every price comes with a consequence. And somewhere, on the empty tracks, the wind carried a lesson no one would forget. In the West, control isn't bought with gold, it's seized in the moment you act, when hesitation would mean death. The station never quite recovered. Hale's influence crumbled. Dust became a name spoken with reverence and fear. Lila, she vanished into the horizon, carrying the memory of a night when courage, cunning, and a whispered challenge changed the course of Blackwater forever.